What is your favorite quote? We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. One moment of patience, in a moment of anger, can save 1,000 moments of regret. There is considerable overlap between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists. Yellowstone Park Ranger. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. If you choose not to find joy in the snow, you will have less joy in your life, but the same amount of snow. It's okay to go through awful places, just don't stop and unpack. You know, it's funny. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. Measure twice, cut once. You go to heaven for the climate and hell for the company. Mark Twain. Knowledge speaks but wisdom listens. A society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they shall never sit. Never attribute to malice what can be explained by stupidity. Principles only mean something if you stand by them when it's inconvenient. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Everybody has a chapter they don't read aloud. I hope that either all of us or none of us are judged by the actions of our weakest moments, but rather by the strength we show when and if we're ever given a second chance. Be the things that you love the most about the people who are gone. Knowledge is knowing that you know nothing. Socrates. That's us, dude. Bill and Ted. If you are going through hell, keep going. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Arthur Ashe. So I did. In all things moderation, including moderation. Oscar Wilde. I have made it through 100 of my hardest days. Helps when I'm falling into a depressive episode, but I think it's good advice for anyone dealing with the ebbs and flows of life. It is forbidden to kill, therefore all murderers are punished unless they kill in large numbers and to the sound of trumpets. Voltaire. You're not wrong, you're just an asshole. Jeffrey Lebowski. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what a ship is built for. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. I think about my father being called boy, my uncle being called boy, my brother, coming back from Vietnam and being called boy. So I questioned myself, what does a black man have to do before he's given the respect as a man? So when I was 18 years old, when I was old enough to fight and die for my country, old enough to drink, old enough to vote, I said I was old enough to be called a man. I self-ordained myself Mr. T, so the first word out of everybody's mouth is Mr. That's a sign of respect that my father didn't get, that my brother didn't get, that my mother didn't get. Happiness is to be found along the way, not at the end of the road. Robert Updegraff. Good decisions come from experience, but experience comes from bad decisions. I freed many slaves in my time, and I could have freed many more if only they had known they were slaves. Harriet Tubman. I never let my schooling interfere with my education. Mark Twain. Sucking at something is the first step to being kinda good at something. Jake the dog. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press on" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge. It is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. I have a two-way tie for first. Growing up is surviving long enough to witness all of your heroes turn human. American author John Green. Most likely. He who makes a beast of himself rids the pain of being a man. Samuel Johnson. I never wonder to see men wicked, but I often wonder to see them not ashamed. Jonathan Swift. Or everything in moderation, including moderation. Oscar Wilde. Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Walk beside me, just be my friend. Never quit, make them fire you. Guy who got fired. Guy I used to work with, name withheld. I was new to the job, having a tough time, and I was really feeling like I wasn't cut out for the work and considering quitting. This guy, who'd been on the job a lot longer, told me that, and while it was simple, it stuck with me. They hadn't fired me yet, so clearly I wasn't screwing up as badly as I thought I was. No sense in beating myself up over something even before the bosses do. If not for him, I probably would have quit and never given myself the chance to actually get better. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know, do better. Paraphrased. Maya Angelou. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Maya Angelou. The ultimate measure of man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Martin Luther King Jr. Eventually, all our graves go unattended. Conan O'Brien. The true test of a man's character is what he does when no one is watching. John Wooden. Suck it, Trebek. If the minimum wasn't acceptable, it wouldn't be the minimum. Build a man a fire, and he'll be warm for a day. Set a man on fire, and he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Terry Pratchett. Biology is really chemistry. Chemistry is really physics. Physics is really math. Math is really hard. Rabbit's clever, said Pooh thoughtfully. Yes, said Piglet, Rabbit's clever. And he has brain. Yes, said Piglet, Rabbit has brain. There was a long silence. I suppose, said Pooh, that's why he never understands anything. It's far easier to stay out of trouble than to get out of trouble. Buffet. Paraphrasing. I have more in common with you than I do my own government. You have more in common with me than you do your own. Our governments are very much the same. Often, the less there is to justify a traditional custom, the harder it is to get rid of it. Mark Twain. Don't set yourself on fire trying to keep others warm. It's become a quote I try to live by. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Confucius. If you meet a loner, no matter what they tell you, it's not because they enjoy solitude, it's because they have tried to blend into the world before, and people continue to disappoint them. Should I kill myself or have a cup of coffee? Albert Camus. I will not say do not weep, for not all tears are evil. Gandalf, Lotta. Yesterday I had to suppress my dog and then bury her by myself, one of the most tragic days in my life. But still, she gave me so much in my life that I am just grateful. I know it's not a person, but I miss her so much. If you loan some $50 but never see that person again, it was probably worth it. When I do good, I feel good. Abraham Lincoln. It is possible to make no mistakes and lose. That is not failure, that is life. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music he hears, however measured or far